Well, the prospect of securing medals inside the Paris 2024 Olympic arena just 10 months before the Games are due to start has drawn gymnasts from 44 different countries, 167 gymnasts competing in Paris this weekend. They'll compete for 10 sets of individual medals, with the top 8 on each apparatus qualifying for today's finals. Crowd here, they're in for such a treat because some of the biggest names in the sport will be competing in front of them today. Now, those gymnasts who you see lining up before you, they are the finalists for the men's floor. We'll be getting underway with the men's floor first of all, alongside the women's vault final. Big cheer goes up for France, as you'd expect. Well, those are your 8 finalists for the men's floor. Huge anticipation for the crowd, who are in good spirits. It will be Juan Larrajondo of Colombia who gets things underway first. And of course the one to watch, Benjamin Osberger, very promising up and coming French youngster. He'll give the home crowd something to cheer about, I'm sure. Osberger, he finished 4th on the floor exercise at last year's World Championships in Liverpool. Can he go one better here today? Can he make that podium? Just imagine how much that would mean for the French crowd. That is Clay Mason-Stevens of Australia, who is leaving people in no doubt as to which nation he's come from, with his cork sun hat. Plenty of French tricolores in the air as the crowd get ready to support their athletes, and of course there'll be huge support for all of the athletes here today. Some real talent on display, because these athletes of course will be keen to get their preparation done before those World Championships, which will be taking place in Antwerp in just a couple of weeks' time. This is their last chance to compete on the big stage before that. And of course, as I said, the Olympics just around the corner, and they will be taking place here in Bercy. Great opportunity for these gymnasts to get a feel of this arena, a feel for what it would be like to be competing in Paris next year. And of course, we will be seeing many of these gymnasts in Paris next year as well. Juan Larrajondo of Colombia, who is waiting to take to the floor. He was a bronze medalist on this apparatus in this year's South American Championships. He finished 7th in qualification. His difficulty score was 5.5 on the lower end of the 8 finalists, although his execution was just as good as Jake Jarman's, who finished 1st in qualification. So watch out for a nicely executed clean routine here from the Colombian. A huge noise from the crowd there during that first tumbling pass. And what a landing that was. He absolutely nailed it. Coach thinks so too. What a great start to this floor final. He certainly looks like he enjoyed it. Juan Larrajondo, his coach, enjoyed it, and the crowd certainly did. There was great noise from them throughout his routine. He had really lovely clean landings, apart from a couple of instances just like that one in which his right foot just stepped out of bounds. There was that one, and then there was another. Other than that, he was powerful with his tumbling. Generally stuck his landings and very much enjoyed the process. Well, next up on the men's floor, Jorge Vega Lopez, 26-year-old from Guatemala. Pan Am champion on floor way back in 2015 and 16, back-to-back gold medals on the floor. He's a two-time gold medalist, three-time gold medalist rather, on the floor at the Central American and Caribbean Games, and a two-time silver medalist at the Bolivarian Games on the floor. He's won medals across floor, vault, parallel bars, horizontal bar and team. Certainly the floor seems to be where he's had most of his success. He actually won Guatemala's first ever gold medal in gymnastics at the Pan Am Games in Toronto, and he took gold on that floor that year. A 12.5 for Juan Larrajondo to kick off this men's floor final. Just down from his qualifying score, which was a 13.65. Jorge Vega Lopez, Guatemala's first ever gymnastics gold medalist. Well, he finished 8th in qualification with a 5.6 difficulty of this routine. His execution was 8.05. So his execution, incidentally, better than the second and third best qualifiers, but the difficulty just a little lower. Nice clean landing. Again, another really nice, tidy landing. Well, he looks really pleased with his performance there, and so does the coach. The crowd enjoyed that too. Huge cheers going up in each tumbling pass. Great height off the floor there. Big smile and a wave to the camera. He takes first position as things stand with 13.8. Which is higher, incidentally, than his score in qualification, 13.650. So, a bit of an improvement for him. Arthur Mariano of Brazil. Fantastic tumbling pass to start his routine. He was the fourth strongest in qualification. And what a start this is for him. Well, a lovely, clean routine, well executed. Lovely mix of power and grace and athleticism. Big cheers go up from the Brazilian contingent as their athlete makes his way off the floor. Hugs and high fives. Brazil fans in the crowd enjoyed it too. Well, it is his 30th birthday tomorrow. And what a way this is to celebrate it. I'm sure he'll be on the plane back to Sao Paulo tomorrow, but imagine if he was on his way back with a medal. A bit of a debrief with the coach as to how he thinks it went. I think the verdict from both would be very good indeed. Well, he goes straight into first place with a 14.2. He's absolutely delighted with that, of course. Very accomplished gymnast. He is an Olympian. He was at his home Olympics in Rio. Will he be in Paris next year? Those cheers you can hear are going up for Benjamin Osberger, the young Frenchman. He finished second in qualification with a score of 14. Well, his difficulty was on the low side, but his execution was excellent. And that is the story of this gymnast. Lovely execution. His difficulty isn't huge yet, but he is still a very young gymnast. Just listen to the roar of the crowd. He says his gymnastic ambition is to be at the Paris Games next year. I'm sure listening to the crowd here, listening to that home support, will give him a real taste of what that would be like. The home Olympics, the biggest sporting event of all, in front of a vocal home crowd. What a feeling that would be. Well, a wonderful performance from Benjamin Osberger, the young Frenchman, the 21-year-old from Caumont in France. Big hugs all around. Well, his qualification score was a 14, second highest in qualification. At the minute, the highest score is 14.2. So that's the score he needs to beat.
Au cœur de la Cour Arena pour ces internationaux de France de gymnastique. Des belles images, on peut encore la venir. Voilà, dans quelques instants, Benjamin va découvrir sa note et on la découvrira avec lui. Ça sent bon en tout cas, ça se passe bien pour lui.
14.650, the score is huge, and so is the cheer from the crowd, because he goes into first place as things stand. Arthur Mariano, the Brazilian who was in the lead, showing great sportsmanship in applauding his fellow competitor. Well, at the halfway stage of the men's floor final, it is the Frenchman, the home athlete, who takes the lead on the floor, followed by Arthur Mariano of Brazil. Next to come, still plenty more exciting athletes in this floor final. We have Clay Mason-Stevens, the Australian. He'll be next in the second part of this men's floor final, followed by Jake Sharman, Koga Hiramatsu, and Luke Whitehouse. Well, those athletes will get themselves warmed up. And the crowd are already warmed up and absolutely loving what they're seeing so far. And this is just the beginning. This is just the first of 10 finals today. Well, next up is Clay Mason-Stevens, the 26-year-old of Henley Beach, near Adelaide in Australia. Great landing, very powerful start. Well, he's a very interesting athlete, Clay Stevens. He studied in the US, studied at the University of Illinois on a sports scholarship. He said he had to study, but he didn't really want to. But the college gymnastics scene was something he was never really aware of when he was growing up, and it was a great stepping stone for him. He's had multiple injuries that he's overcome, so he's got very good mental strength and determination. He has torn his ACL 3 times, he's had 6 surgeries, he's had fractures in his back, and he had bowel cancer in 2016, so overcoming all of those things, just incredible for this gymnast. He's followed his goals and he's been passionate about achieving them and hasn't let anything stop him at all. Clay Mason-Stevens of Australia. That wasn't the performance he would have wanted on the floor, with a couple of mishaps there. There was a couple of landings that he didn't quite manage to stick. Crowd noise still huge for him despite that. Just a great achievement in itself to have made this final, given the caliber of the athletes here in Paris this weekend.
Le passage de montée en force a aussi tout à fait réussi. Voilà, donc décide sa prestation, je l'imagine. On va attendre la note qui va être amplifiée de 2 chutes.
And the hat goes back on. Well, this is Jake Jarman, 21-year-old from Peterborough in the UK. He had a very successful year last year. His first year as a senior was 2022. In his first major senior championships, the Commonwealth Games, he won the gold medal in the all-around team, the individual all-around, the floor exercise and the vault. That was a really exciting tumble. As was that one, very powerful gymnast. Well, in those Commonwealth Games last year, he became the first English male gymnast to win 4 medals at a single Games. A few weeks later then, in Munich, at the European Championships, he became continental champion in the team and vault events. So he's a very strong all-rounder indeed. That gold medal on the vault was the first one won by a British male at European level. Very impressive young man indeed. Jake Jarman. Of Great Britain. Walking off the floor to be greeted by his coach. He didn't look too pleased with himself as he was leaving the floor. The expression was quite hard to read, but he certainly didn't see the smile that we saw from Arthur Mariano and Benjamin Osberger. Those 2 gymnasts visibly delighted with how they'd done. of course, it is now up to the judges to decide what they think.
Yeah, so let's work it out. I don't think, so we need to work it out. So I'll get straight, I won't go be down 6, there'll be no 6. 3 seconds. Along the connection team, they're only going to get 6-5. So it'll be 6-5.
Some calculations going on there. It must be a difficult job being a coach, watching your athlete performing, knowing that there's nothing more you can do once they step out onto that apparatus. Your work is done and all you can do is nervously watch and hope.
Yeah. I mean, in my head I was like, if I go for double, I'm going to sit it down.
En tête du classement de cette finale. Donc 14, 650 à Bâle.
Well, Jake Jarman is in second position behind the Frenchman, Benjamin Osberger, and those cheers going up because this French crowd know that their athlete is still in front. He's still top of the podium as things stand. Well, next to go on the floor, this is the penultimate athlete on the floor, Koga Hiramatsu from Japan. He finished qualification in second position with a score of 14 exactly. Well, if he were to score 14 again, that would get him third place on the podium. So this is certainly a very high scoring, high quality final. Nice, clean landing. And again. The Japanese certainly pleased with how their athlete has performed in this floor final. It's lovely to see the sportsmanship and the great camaraderie between all the competitors, shaking each other's hands, coaches greeting athletes from other nations to say well done and offer their support. It really is lovely to see that support and conviviality within the gymnastics ranks. Wow, first position. He goes into first and he looks like he can't believe it. That is a big score and it knocks Benjamin Osberger, the Frenchman, off top spot by just 0.05. Great sportsmanship from Osberger, who went straight over to shake his rival's hand. And that really was a great performance from the Japanese athlete. This is Luke Whitehouse, the last to go. And going last, of course, you know what scores you have to beat. He needs a 14.40 to get on that podium. He is the European floor champion. He won gold on the floor and was part of that GB team who won the bronze at the 2023 European Championships earlier this year. Luke Whitehouse, final competitor to go in what's been an absolutely fantastic men's floor final. Koga Hiramoto cheering on his fellow athlete. Clearly enjoyed that performance as well. Well, at the World Challenge Cup in Croatia, in qualifying for the floor final 2 years ago, Luke Whitehouse became the first British gymnast to complete a triple back somersault in competition, so he's certainly an accomplished, exciting gymnast. Still young, he's just 21 years of age. Very confident. Well, in qualifying, he got a 13.850, the fourth highest score. That puts him in third place, 14.650. A bronze medal for Luke Whitehouse, but number one, that is the Japanese athlete Koga Hiramatsu. He takes the gold medal, and look how delighted he is. So that's the men's floor final. Koga Hiramatsu takes the gold, just ahead of the Frenchman Benjamin Osberger, and Luke Whitehouse beating his fellow GB teammate Jake Jarman to the bronze medal position. Luke Whitehouse of Great Britain, bronze medalist on the men's floor. And of course this one is an absolute crowd pleaser. Benjamin Osberger of France taking the silver. He was in that gold medal position for quite a lot of that final. That was until this man came along and knocked him off top spot to take the gold. Koga Hiramatsu of Japan.
Je vous remercie. Cérémonie protocolaire.